Hi, my name is Joanie Neveu, and I'm the facilities manager at Asian Community Mental Health Services. I'm a 14-year breast cancer survivor. I was diagnosed, well, in the beginning, at the end of 1995, I felt a hard disc behind my left nipple. And I went to my gynecologist, and she felt it and said, well, you're due for your mammogram, so go get your mammogram, which turned out to be negative. So in the beginning of '96, I am a very paranoid person, so I asked my husband, I really need to check this out, and he encouraged me to do so. So in April of '96, the surgeon did a biopsy on a Tuesday, and Thursday he called me up and says, you have cancer. And that was a pure shock. It was a shock to me. Like my friend Catherine said, you felt numb. First thing I thought, well, this is it, you know, how long do I have to live and all that. But what I really felt I worried about were my kids. Emily was 12 at the time, and my son Daniel was 8. And I thought, how is my husband Bill going to take care of these young kids? You know, how is he going to deal with that, being single without me around? So that was my main concern. And I thought I would never see Emily grow up and help her through the difficult teenage years. I would never see my son Daniel play basketball in high school. So anyway, I was stage 1 and diagnosed stage 1 and between stage 1 and 2, and I had a lumpectomy and my lymph nodes were clear. Then I went through chemotherapy and radiation. Some of the resources that I wished I had, well, I had a resource right after my diagnosis. The doctor says, well, American Cancer Society has this Reach to Recovery program. This is when you match a cancer survivor with yourself with a similar diagnosis. So I was looking forward to meeting her, because this is the first person I would meet who had breast cancer and was a survivor. And so she came to our house, and my first question was, and I think a lot of women, the concern was losing your hair, because I was told after taking adriamycin and Cytoxan that I would, in 2 weeks after the first infusion, I would lose my hair. And so she said, well, fortunately for me, I didn't lose my hair. I go, well, this is a good match. So, and then but then she says, well, when you're on chemo, you'll probably lose your appetite, but when you feel better, you need to eat whatever you need to eat to gain your strength back. And I go, okay, that makes sense. And then she goes, but fortunately for me, I hired a cook. Well, my cook would be my husband, who would be taking care of me as a caregiver and the kids and the household. So I said, whatever. And so she mentioned that she had a resource for a wig shop, and she would call me in a few days to give me that information. Well, she didn't call. I waited for a week, then I called her. So she apologized and she gave me the information. Then she said she would follow up in 2 weeks, which she never did. So that was such a disappointing experience, and I felt that if I were to do one-on-one, I would never do that. I would always follow up. I would check on that person and give her all the support she needed. There was also, I was in a group therapy with breast cancer survivors, but they were, it was a drop-in clinic, so I attended a few times. The first time I started losing my hair, and so I was in the beginning stage of my treatment, and then we were checking in, and this lady next to me had finished her treatment, and then she says, I think it's come back. So that freaked me out, and I came home crying. I says, I'm never going to go back to that therapy group again. So that was some of the, I wished we had a better, I needed a better therapy group that had similar, women were diagnosed about the same time, so we could work together and support each other throughout our journey through cancer. My message of hope is for diagnosed women with cancer or people with cancer is it's more of a suggestion, more like don't be afraid to talk about it. I'm the type, obviously, that wants to talk about it and share my feelings. Some people I know that they keep it inside, and which is, I don't think, very healthy. It's okay also to have a pity party. It's okay to cry. I loved crying in the shower. It was very cleansing, the water going over my body. And I think my friend Catherine was saying, people were telling you should do this, you should do that, and they mean well. Be strong, be strong. I hated that when people said be strong, you know. But I knew that they were trying to say the best, share their feelings, and it was awkward for them also. I think surround yourself with family and friends who will listen to you and support you. Having a belief in some God or a higher being is something that will give you strength. I know my mom and dad said back my old church back home, they had put me on a prayer list, which helped as I was going through treatment. Somebody, a neighbor I don't really know that well, she knocked on the door and she asked me how I was doing, and she said, oh, by the way, I lit a candle for you at my church. So that really made me feel good, that somebody just kind of a not too close person had thought of me and did that for me. So I think you should accept everybody's generosity and love. I know people would come and call and say, we're bringing dinner over. I go, no, that's okay, you don't have to do that, please don't, it's too much bother. But after a while I learned to accept it. Just like you are. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I work, I'm a facilities manager, I'm in control, and like the loss of control is hard. But after I said, let it come, and somebody told me, well, you may not feel like eating, but your kids, your family needs to eat. So it was after that I accepted it, and everything was fine. So what am I doing to spread my message of hope to other cancer patients? One of the things I always tell is to make sure that you do your monthly breast self-exams, get your annual clinic exam, and mammograms whenever appropriate. Catherine and I work at ACMHS, and we're the resident cancer survivors. Somebody called us the poster children, the cancer poster children, and we provide support to other women who are going through cancer treatments. We share our stories. I was on the first Susan G. Komen API steering committee or advisory committee, striving to put more emphasis on Asian breast cancer survivors by providing more educational materials for in Asian languages, and trying to push for more money for research in API communities. But unfortunately, we have a long ways to go. I just want to thank everybody for listening to my story, and I just want to let you know that my children, my daughter's 26 going on 27. She made it through the teenage years, and my son, I had the chance to watch my son play basketball in high school, and now he's finishing up college at the age of 22. So thank you very much.